Welcome to Management 301, International Business. I will be your professor, Dr. Bastaras. Let me talk a little bit about the course, what to expect, what it covers, what it takes to get an A+, plus introduce myself a little bit, and then also give you a little bit of a background information about this course. So first, this is a very unique course, one that I love teaching. I have been teaching it for 15 years, every semester pretty much, so 30, 40 different rounds so far. And this is a very different course to teach compared to, for example, statistics that I also teach. With statistics, it's easy to be a professor. You ask students what they know about, for example, ANOVAs or regression analysis or multi-level modeling. And most of the time they have no clue. And so they look up to you, the professor, to sort of explain to them how these things work, which is both easy but also somewhat boring. International business is a very different kind of course. Here we cover highly controversial topics, but yet very familiar topics. So topics that people they think have a lot of knowledge about, often they have very strong emotionally charged opinions about. And so it is somewhat challenging for me as a professor to talk about those things because often what I say is new to you in a way that you thought you knew everything. And all of a sudden now your opinions are being challenged. But that's what makes it interesting. So we will be talking about such things as international trade, trade wars, for example, with China, between the United States and China, job outsourcing, for example, to Mexico, regional integration, such as NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, which now is called the U.S. Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement, right? So all of those things, currency exchanges, financial markets, so things that people think they know a lot about, but at the same time, the truth is that often they don't. Most of the time we learn about these things from sort of the political discourse, from the political ads, or maybe from, I don't know, political speeches or debates during the presidential elections. And in many cases, the knowledge we receive is not designed to educate you, but rather is designed to convince you of whatever the party wants you to believe in. And so as a result, it's not fundamental, it's not informative enough, and it's always very biased. And so people would have very strong opinions about things like Brexit, the European Union, NAFTA. Should we trade or should we not trade with China? Should we build or should we not build the wall between the United States and Mexico? So people would have very strong answers to those questions. If I stop 10 people on the street and ask them what they think about statistics, most people would have no clue what I'm asking and will not even be pretending that they know the answer. Ask people what they think needs to be done about immigration, about international trade, about the wall on the border. And people will tell you, let me tell you what the correct answer is. So they will try to convince you that you know and that you need to listen to them. And so that's, as I said, both interesting but also challenging. What pleases me most when I teach this course is that I often see students have this sort of aha moment. So my goal here is not to convince you of one or the other sort of opinion. My goal here is to give you the review of the knowledge that we have about each of these topics. And for many of them, we literally have centuries of knowledge when it comes to international trade, all the way back to Adam Smith, 1976, The Wealth of Nations. And obviously, over these hundreds of years, we've accumulated a lot of additional empirical evidence, developed theories that explain who should trade with whom and why and how. Same thing with international finance, international trade, and things like that. And so my job will be to give you the knowledge we already have, to give you the framework, the roadmap, so to speak, the foundation based on which you will know how to approach those topics. It's up to you to form your opinion. I'll give you the list of things to consider. And so in many cases, when you hear about these things from the political events, they're very much one-sided and very narrow. So I will give you a much broader sort of perspective So when we talk about international trade, I will not tell you whether it's good or bad. I will tell you that, well, there are many things to consider. There will be winners, there will be losers. These will be the winners, these will be the losers. This is what they win, this is what they lose. This is how these things change over time. This is the short term outcome, this is the long term outcome. Let me show you some statistics, and you will see that it's much more complicated. And as I said, it pleases me, it kind of makes my work worthwhile when I see students kind of go through this moment like, oh, never thought about it that way. You're right. I mean, there is much more to this story. Okay, now I understand better. Now I see how it's maybe highly beneficial for this group of people. Very negative. This group of people used to be positive. Now it's negative, or the other way around. So all of those things are very, very important. And I hope you will find them interesting and educational. Now, let me talk a little bit about myself and then about the course. So, my background, as you can tell by my accent, I'm not from here. I'm Ukrainian. I left Ukraine when I was 16 to study in Germany in high school. And then I did my degrees all around the place, in Germany, in Canada, in the United States. So, for example, my master's was from the University of Texas at Dallas. I was first primarily in economics and taught primarily economics statistics. But then over time, I developed interest more in sort of the human side of international business. Uh, to a large extent, it was prompted by my personal international experience as I moved from one country to another, as I worked as an interpreter, for example. My first job was in 1994. When I came from Germany, I worked as an interpreter for a company, an American company that built a factory in my hometown. And they hired Germans to be the engineers to oversee the production. So there were multiple cultures, and I often found myself sort of between those cultures, in between those cultures. So I would often need to sort of mitigate difficult negotiations, conflicts, tensions, and that's where I sort of developed the appreciation for cultural differences, for sort of different interests, different ways of doing business. And so that's when I really got interested in international business. I specialize in international business in general, from international trade to immigration, but I'm most known for my work on international teams. So when you happen to have people from different cultures who need to work together, all kinds of things can go wrong, but also all kinds of opportunities open up. And so my job here is to study and develop methods to minimize the problems and maximize the productivity. Some of my studies actually showed how to improve productivity by 20, 30, 40%, reduce, for example, problems by up to 45%. So big deals, for a larger company, these are, savings in millions and millions of dollars. I am the vice president of the Academy of International Business, and I am an associate editor for 4 journals, all the major journals for international business, or a board member for many more. So basically associated in that area with a lot of research. As I said, I was born in Ukraine, and so here is a map that shows my hometown and my country of origin, although it's been multiple countries since then, and it's been now 15 years in North Carolina, so never thought that it would be so long. This is my family. The photo is a little old, so the kids are a little older now, but yes, I have 2 kids. I also have a dog and a cat now, so a little bit of bigger family. And so these are some of the places where I lived long enough to have some form of an address, teaching, work in short-term assignments, long-term assignments. So as I said, my interest in international business by and large, or to a large extent, is a result of my own international experience. Now, a little bit about the scores. So the road to A+ in this course is straight, which is both good news and bad news. The good news here is that you don't really need to, nothing complicated about getting to an A+ here. So very straightforward, very simple. At the same time, it's bad news because there are no shortcuts. Your IQ, your creativity, your prior experience probably will not help you much with getting an A+ in this course. So if you watch my video lectures, if you do the readings, you will know the answers. You will get an A for the exams. if you don't watch the lectures, if you don't do the readings, chances are you will not guess the correct answers on the exam. It's that kind of course that, it's simple, but it's new. So if you watch it, if you read it, you will know the answer. If you don't, you probably will not guess that answer. Here is another illustration that I use with my students in class. Like literally I would bring like real water, real glass, a real glass to illustrate it, but let me illustrate it to you. So with this animation here. So I would ask my students, show them a cup and ask them if it's full or empty. And students say, well, it's empty. There are always some smarty pants who would say, well, it's full of air, but no, it's empty. And then I would put some pebbles into this glass and ask, is it full now? Now students like, yeah, it does seem full now, actually fuller than it was before. And then I would add some pebbles and say, is it full now? And they say, yeah, it seems like it's full now. Now it's really full. And then I would even sometimes bring some water or beer and add that to the cup. So, but the point here is that the big rocks symbolize common knowledge that everybody has. So this is the stuff that everybody knows. Everybody knows that immigration exists and it's movement of people to another. Everybody knows that different countries use different currencies. And so Europeans use euro and Americans use dollars. Nothing unusual here. So we will be talking here about more specialized stuff, which these smaller pebbles represent. So for example, if we talk about international finance or currencies, I will not be asking you what are the different currencies. I will be asking you what are the factors affecting currency exchange rates. So why dollar and euro have a constantly fluctuating exchange rate? What predicts them? What explains those fluctuations? So those are the kinds of questions, and that's usually something people don't know. They may speculate sometimes and maybe even guess one of those factors or two, but we will talk about many more of them, and you'll need to know those things in much more depth, and so that's more specialized stuff. Now, the beer here that you see on the map, that's for the graduate school. I mean, obviously, there is more to the topic than we will cover in this course, and so we will not cover everything, so that's something for your PhD degree if you ever wanted to go that route, right? Now, a little bit about the course outline and a little bit about where to find the materials for this course. So you have the course outline on the course syllabus on Canvas. And so this is what it looks like. So I will not go through the whole thing. So let me just show you the most important things here that you need to pay attention to, and I hope you will read the rest. So no prerequisites. There is a textbook. Get the latest version if you want the latest statistics. But if money is tight and you want to save a few dollars, it's okay to get a more earlier edition. Course objectives, as I said, my goal is to explain to you how international business sort of works. So there will be a lot of stuff that is more like how things work, what things are, but also some how to, if you do business internationally, here is what you need to do. There will be, if we go to video lectures, there will be a series of video lectures, and you can find them in Canvas. I'll show you in a minute where to find them. The video lectures are probably the most important source of information. So chapters, readings are important, but video lectures are sort of tailored to the exams. So if you have a choice of, or if you cannot do everything, then do video lectures first. If you have more time, read the textbook. In fact, I highly recommend that you read the textbook, but as the next step. Should you watch the video lectures? Yes, they are tailored to the exam. There will be in the video lectures previews of real exam questions. So when you watch the video lecture, you will actually see several exam questions that will appear on the exam. So you prepare that way. One important thing that I want to say about the video lectures, so the last time I recorded them, it was a couple of years ago. The video lectures are not outdated, so most of the things, not pretty much all of the things, still apply. But there have been some developments. So there has been this war between Ukraine and Russia. There have been some new presidents and new elections in these couple of years. So some things have changed, And so some lectures I'd like to update them. I'm saying 99% the same stuff, but I wanted to give you more recent statistics and things like that. And so it takes about a day to create a video lecture, even though the lecture itself is about an hour, but it takes a whole day, to record, to update, to render, to edit. So I'm kind of moving slowly. And so I recorded, I think, the first 5 or 6. I'll try to add more in the coming days. But then again, some lectures are not outdated at all, so I'll probably keep the old version from a couple of years ago. So sometimes you'll see me with this kind of background, and sometimes it may be a slightly different background. So that's the reason why there is a slight difference. Now, slides, you will notice that my slides are very wordy, lots of text there. And the reason for that is that it's not that I don't know how to create visually appealing slides. If I wanted to sell you something, I would just have graphics, maybe a couple of words. But I designed the slides to be class notes. So something that you can read almost in lieu of, instead of the book chapter. So, or something that you can use to quickly review everything right before the exam. So a quick reference guide. The exams are open books, open notes, so you very much can just go through the slides. And if you don't know the answer during the exam, if you know the slides, you can quickly find the answers there. So no need to go through 40 pages of the textbook. Now, there will be 3 exams and 3 homework assignments that are mandatory. So each exam is 25%. For each exam, you will have 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you prefer to do it on a weekend, you can do it on a weekend. If you want a business day, you can do it on a business day. But once you start, you'll have 75 minutes to complete the exam. So anytime during those 4 days, that 4-day window, but once you start, you cannot stop. There will be 3 homework assignments that are mandatory, and then there will be 1 optional assignment for each lecture. And so the optional assignments, I call them green question bonus assignments. And so as you can see here in the syllabus, for each of the lectures, you literally have a set of green questions, open-ended green questions. So those are the questions that you would need to answer for the optional homework assignments. So that's for you to both learn what kind of topics will be covered in a given lecture, but also to signal to me, to show me that you did the readings, that you did the stuff. And so it's optional. You don't have to do it. It's an effort assignment. So you don't have to give me full, complete answers, correct answers. As long as I see from your answers that you've worked on the assignments, I'll give you full credit. And so it's only 0.2 points per lecture. But if you do all of them, it will add up to about 3 points total, which may be just enough to change your grade from B- to A+. I also will give you bonuses for optional course improvement suggestions. So for example, I'll give you 0.1 points for everything like finding typos in my slides or in my syllabus. Maybe some words I mispronounce. I would much appreciate if you can correct me so I don't make those mistakes in the future. Maybe some suggestions for homework assignments or exams. All of those improve the course, help me improve the course, but also signals to me that you care, that you do the readings, that you pay attention. I'll gladly give you 0.1 points for each of those corrections. Do enough of them, find 10 typos, which I assure you there are more than 10 typos in my materials, and I will give you 1 extra point, for example, for 10 corrections, which again may raise your grade from B+ to A-, for example. But that's about it that I wanted to show you about the course in the syllabus. Let me show you what it looks like in Canvas. So your best stop will be in modules, although you can go to files, and that's where you will find the slides. That's where you will find all of the readings, all of the materials. But probably a more interesting place for you would be modules. So here you have by date, what you need to do on each date. So around June 15th, the first day of the course, you watch the video introduction, which is the one I'm delivering to you now, and you read the syllabus. Just click and you will see the syllabus here. You read the syllabus. Next, it will be next week, later this week, you have week 1, chapter 3 from the textbook. This is the topic. Here you have the video lecture. Here you have some additional videos that are part of the video lectures. You can watch them here. And then you have the green questions, the optional assignment, and then you have the slides in case you want to keep a copy of slides. And then week 2, week 3, and so on and so on. So you just go to the date and you see what needs to be done. If you go to assignments, you will see the exams right here. You will see the optional green question bonuses, and you will see the required homework assignments. Now here it's important, some of them, the optional ones, are all opened from now for the rest of the semester. If you want, you can do them all today, whenever you're ready like that. But the mandatory assignments, they will open in due time. So the exams, as I said, you'll have 4-day windows for each of the exam, and that's when they open. The take-home assignments that are mandatory usually open about 5 days before they are due, usually after you complete the lectures on that topic. And so then again, you'll have several days to complete them, and that's that's it. So nothing unusual otherwise. You can go to grades and you can see your grades here. So that's the instructor's view, so it's empty, but you will see your version when you go there. This is pretty much all I wanted to share with you about the course. As I said, it will be educational, insightful. Many things will be somewhat unexpected, perhaps, in terms of what you learn, and they will challenge your beliefs and maybe your biases. I hope you will appreciate the sort of multi-dimensional and different sides of opinions, so to speak. And I hope that you will find it very informative, and I hope you'll have many of those aha moments where you will say, oh, never thought about it that way. Looking forward to working with you over the next several weeks, and if you have any questions, you can always email or contact me. I even put my cell phone in the syllabus in case it's an emergency. Feel free to contact me, and welcome to the course. So welcome to Management 301 International Business.